From afar, the waterweed looked like any fields that are gathered at the front of the Cocoa Beach at Teshinugwa, but a closer look revealed an entirely different picture. The strange waterweed is brownish in color and is made up of several dead plant cells. The weed also emitted a very pungent smell and was also filled with small flies. Almost all the stretch of the coastline from Teshin to Nungwa was covered by the waterweeds. For residents operating businesses along the coast, the presence of the waterweed meant loss of business revenue, and they accused government, the Environmental Protection Agency and the Ghana Tourism Board for failing to live up to their mandates.
As of last year, the Zoom Lion people and those who have been cleaning the coast have been working, so it helps a lot. But I mean, the whole of this year, we don't see them coming to work. Otherwise, the situation would have been, much better than this. And for that matter, it is very bad.
Oh, it's almost about 6 months now that the Zoom Lion stopped coming here, and it's like this. Nobody do help so that the beach will be clean. It's every day like this. And this one just came about 2 weeks ago. I think there's a wind. Before it came like this, the wind entered under the sea and it brought all those things from the sea. And there's no one to help to come out. We used to bury them, but now it's too much and nobody is helping us to clean these things here.
For Stephen Owusu and his colleagues, they could not sit down and watch their business go down the drain. So they set to work to clear the parts of the beachfront where their business operates to make the place more habitable and conducive for holiday revelers. But Stephen is not amused about the situation at all and wants government to act immediately.
It's a tourist site and people used to come here and they sit around, have fun, and I don't know, but like the government should come to our aid and help us, because this is also affecting our business, and more of the time when you swim, you have these skin rashes on your body, and it's also affecting us. Moreover, we want the government to come in. Some people came to help to clean the beach. Later we didn't see them again. I don't know if the government is not paying them or what, because they don't come around. And it's like we need the government to help.
Aside the waterweed that has engulfed the coastline of Teshin, Nungwa and other surrounding communities, the presence of plastic and solid waste along the beachfront is also rife.
How this place is, all these rubbish can cause disease to children, cause cholera or disease to the children. I want the government to clear all this place. You'll be neat, sir. You'll be safe.
Residents are meanwhile appealing to government to immediately come to their aid to resolve the situation.
All right, so some people would want to call it strange seaweed, but others say this is pretty normal. Well, right now I have Prince Kofi Akweti, and he's a practicing environmental scientist, and he's joining me this morning with some more on this particular issue. So, Prince, is this normal?
Very normal, Mommy. Very normal.
Is it?
It's not strange.
Okay. Now we wake up, so this thing just happens. We just sleep, wake up, and then this thing has appeared.
Normally, when we talk of seaweed, we are talking of macroscopic multicellular benthic organisms. They normally are found along the shores of the coast. Normally found along the shores of the coast. So this is not strange. It's not new. It does happen. But just that maybe as a country, we've not taken notice of this for a while. So that is why it seems strange to us. But it's very normal. It's not a curse. It is rather a blessing. If we really make good use of it, we can get something good out of this.
As in we can make good use of it,
yeah.
How?
Because this, we can even get bioethanol out of this. Bioethanol, which can be even used as fuel. When you go to Brazil, they use this as fuel to power vehicles. It has medicinal purposes as well. And even we can use this as a sort of to gag erosion along the shores of the coast. So there are a whole lot of things we could derive out of this as a nation. But maybe as a country over the period, we've not really researched into basic science So that is why when things like this happen, we see it as something strange.
Yeah, and then we just collect them and we throw them away. So this is not posing any health risks?
It has health implications if not well managed. What happens is that if really not care is not taken and it stays for a long time and decay, it results in what hydrogen sulfide, which is poisonous and which can seriously cause food poison to the inhabitants and those who might come into contact with any of the organisms that are or fishes that are taken from that particular sector or geographical location. Okay. So it has health implications as well. It has the good and the bad, depending on how you manage it and the results you get.
So where did that come from?
Normally, things like this are sort of come about. They have conditions or factors that influence this. When you have a good lighting system, you know, photosynthesis. This is when you talk of benthic or multicellular organisms. We are talking of organisms that take advantage of light to photosynthesize. This is part of food chain. So they take advantage of light, and when the lighting system is good and you sort of they have attachment, a place where they could easily attach, you see them or germinating. It is sort of a plant and at the same time an animal. It is a sort of a plant and at the same time an animal. So when they have the favorable conditions, you see them sprouting wherever the conditions are favorable. Wow. And sometimes the sea also was them. It's encapsulated in a cyst on the sea. So when the sea washes ashore and they find a comfortable place of attachment, you see them attaching to the holdfast, which are the rocks and those things along the shore. So it is not strange. It is very normal within our environment.
But is there a certain time that we can expect that it would come out like it has now?
Normally, when you check, the research has shown that within the February to September, that's when these things normally sprout.
February to September. That's a long period.
So normally February to September, that is when. But what we can do as a nation is that maybe it's high time we start diverting our attention in some of these things. We can sort of, it can be forecasted. Then we'll take precautionary measures to make good use of it if we really want to harness it and make the best out of it for the medicinal purposes, as I said, or for the bioethanol, as I said, and all the various good purposes that it can be used for. We can also forecast, and when the time is due, we harvest it and use it for what it can be used for. But if we really don't forecast, it will take us as a surprise, as is happening here. It also has social and economic implications. When they decay, one, the place stinks. So you see foul smell of food. People cannot go there to have their holiday as they used to be. The beaches cannot be patronized by the holiday makers, which will have economic implication on the nation or a country. And also what happens is that when things like this happen, normally when people are not taking advantage of the holiday making, it doesn't accrue any financial benefit to the state. So we have to focus as a country, as a nation. It is not new. What we haven't done over the period is that we've not seriously invested into some of these things. So it's high time our marine policies, we take another look at our marine policies and focus some of these things into our marine policies so that when it comes, it wouldn't be as a surprise to us.
So does it appear brownish initially, or the brown one? Because you know earlier the ones that we saw from Cape Coast, it wasn't as brownish as this one that we are seeing in Accra.
We have various ones. We have the brown algae, we have the green algae. So depending on which surface at a particular location, that is what you see. So you can have a brown algae and at the same time a green algae, which are all part of the seaweed.
So what can we, I mean, what do we do now?
And that is what I've said. I said earlier on that it is not new. It is not a bad phenomenon. What we haven't done is that we've not...
It's to make positive use of it. Yeah, exactly. But as it is now, I don't see us doing anything positive with it. So how can we get rid of it?
Maybe this has taken us as a surprise. So we have to find... There are so many ways of getting rid of this. We have the biological aspect, which couldn't materialize. That is why we are seeing them. With the biological aspect, you have certain pathogens which feed on this.
So but because what are environmental scientists such as yourself doing about this?
Maybe we have to go back to the drawing board as a country and tax the appropriate authorities to do so much, to put so much investment into some of this. And yes, we are there, But the fact of the matter is that we don't have the needed logistics and the needed support to investigate or research into things like this and come out with the appropriate remediation mechanisms to solve it even before it takes us as a surprise. So I would task as a nation, maybe it's high time we go back and invest in basic scientific research so that we'll be able to curb some of these things as they come along and make the positive use out of it.
What would it take for persons such as yourself to do something on this? I mean, if government is not doing anything about it, we should have our young people do something about it.
The young people, then I also tag the corporate, because some of these things we can have the corporate bodies supporting.
But you have to start something.
Yeah, we are writing good
so people can
the young ones at our level, we are writing good proposals to some of these appropriate authorities. And as a media house like yourself and others are also taking notice of this and bringing it in the fore, I think now attention will come to this. So much support and budgetary allocation will be given to this so that we can also take advantage of those facilities and go deep into.
So how do we call? Because so far we're calling it strange seaweed. What's the right name for it?
It's not strange. We have what we call the HABs. That is a harmful algae bloom. This is what it's an algae bloom. When you talk of an algae bloom, it is an accumulation or the rapid increase in the number of the distance. Normally we do have them along the shores, but what happens is that when it's a bloom, you see them multiplying in numbers. Okay. So what we are experiencing now is the algae bloom. They are multiplying in numbers, which I said it happens within the period of February to September. So what we can do is that we can go back, do a proper forecast, as I said earlier.
And who will be forecasting?
We are there. As young and practicing environmental scientists, we are there. When we
so
get
that's
needed,
something that you can do.
We can easily do that, but when we must get the needed support. And
what kind of support are you talking about?
There must be some fund or budgetary allocation devoted to that aspect of research, where we, the young ones and those on the field, can take advantage of those allocations, budgetary allocations, to investigate in some of these things and also propose the proper remediative mechanism to keep things like this, so that our folks along the shore, because most of them have no knowledge of this, so when they see they target as a strange seaweed as they are targeting it, but it's not that strange anyway. It is something that it has a good aspect and it has a bad aspect depending on how we maximize and make use of it.
So what would be your advice going forward, because people live along the coastline and some people also go to make holiday?
Things like this also do happen because of bad fishing practices.
Okay.
Our fisher foods.
It's also because of something that we're doing as humans.
I made mention of the biological remediation. When we talk about the biological remediation, we have certain pathogens that feed on this. As a typical example is the shellfish. But we have our fisher folks who go to fishing and they fish everything they come across.
Okay.
So
they're not getting anything to feed on anymore.
So they have the leeway to sprout and take them as a surprise, as it's happening now. So we also have to that is why I said our marine laws must be strengthened. We have to take a critical look at our marine laws and also enforce those laws. It's not just about having the laws. We must make sure that we enforce them to the latter. So that some of these things, when we have the shellfishes along, they feed on this. So they reduce the population of some of this, of which it shouldn't be in abundance to create the sort of nuisance as it seems is creating to our people living in the coastal areas at this period.
Okay. So what should people be doing right now? I mean, if you live along these areas.
If you live along these areas and you are experiencing this now, maybe for now they just have to bear with the situation. And I also tax. At the point in time, we used to have this Eco Brigade and Zoom Lion and the likes who go to clean along the shores. So maybe for now, if we can take that measure now to do away with it, then going forward as a country, as I said, we'll adopt the various mechanisms to make forecast and make good use of it as it comes the next time.
So is fish still safe? I mean, from these areas?
Yeah.
Should we still be eating fish from there?
That is, if really care is not taken, and they decompose and produce the hydrogen sulfide. As I said, those hydrogen sulfide will get ingested into some of the fishes when they take, because the fishes live within it, so they get ingested in the fishes, and when you take it, it may result in food poisoning.
But this is serious, because how would we know that the fish we're eating is coming from a place like this, and these weeds have decomposed?
Mama B, we are living with it now, and our tax, for us now at our level, as where it has gotten to now, there's nothing really we can do as of now, because it is with us now. So what we can do is the physical remediation by clearing them and also making sure that we are able to salvage the situation, so that next time the needed bioremediation mechanisms could be applied to.
You know, why do I still have the feeling that next time we'll still be having this conversation, it will still be along these same lines, sadly. All right, Prince, I guess we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for the science education. Some of us, we're not comfortable doing science, but I guess at this level, we don't have any choice. But thank you.
Maybe it's high time as a country we have to seriously devote and direct much investment into basic sciences. We need it. You know, initially growing up, when you're reading science at the SHS, the secondary school level, everybody wants to be a medical doctor. But we have various aspects of science that we could go into that we'll use to sort of resolve some of the basic problems we are encountering as a nation. We have not devoted much attention to research scientists. We have not. It seems it's not a field that anybody is considering going into. It seems it's not fetching. Nobody is prepared.
It doesn't make money. I mean, you're not making a lot of money. Yesterday, I was talking to some researchers from the Navrongo Health Research Center. I was surprised. They're doing a lot of work from there as well. A lot of field research. That was really, really positive. You know, the problem is they're not getting a lot of government funding. They're having to rely on donors.
That's why we also tax the corporate bodies. You know, government alone can't do this. You know, industry also must come into play, so that at the end of the day, when we propose and we come out with solutions, they can also tap into some of those solutions that we propose, and they can also credit it to themselves that, yeah, they are part of this, and that is why this has come to stay. So government will do it best, of which will tax government to allocate some fund into some of these basic research. I also call on the corporate bodies to also come and help us as we sojourn to bring and foster solutions to some of these basic problems that we encounter.
Okay, so I will call on you, people like yourself, to come up with great proposals when you're ready and nobody is ready.
I'll present my proposal to you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, no problem. You can bring it. We can present it on air, and then we can get funding from you. How about that?
I'll do that first thing tomorrow morning. By 6 a.m. I'm here.
No problem. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so thanks for being a part of my banner. I'll come back with Roland to wrap this all up for you. It's still the AM show. Stay with us. And stay with us, Prince.